Another day, another town getting hit with insane flash flooding, and this time it's Silver Spring, which is one of the suburbs of Washington, D.C.
We're here at Sligo Creek and Wayne Avenue, and the entire street has just turned into a stream right now, all flowing down that way. It is just completely flooded, with at least 1 to 2 feet of water here.
The capital itself struggled to drain all that rainwater, and the roads once again looked more like fast-moving streams.
What the hell? How is this even possible?
Wait, what did you guys see? I mean, you live here?
Yeah.
Well, this is not.
Did you ever see this flood like this before?
I grew up here.
No.
You grew up?
Now, here I want to address something a lot of commenters have been mentioning, the poor drainage system. Look, it's pretty clear that our cities have bad drainage when you see clips like And let's be clear, this isn't the only issue as far as our flood management is concerned. Don't forget, in Texas, they didn't even have a comprehensive warning system to warn sleeping residents.
Can you tell me, is there any kind of early warning system when things get to flood stage?
No, there is no, and a lot of people aren't from here don't know, there is no alarms, beep, anything like that.
However, as far as poor drainage is concerned, it's just not the only reason behind all this chaos and destruction. The main reason why so many people lost their lives in Texas was that wall of water, which was unprecedented in every sense of the word.
Just a few hours, 100 billion gallons of water over this area here in this white fell. That is more than the amount of water that flows over Niagara Falls daily in a day.
When that much water suddenly gets unleashed into small creeks, it's going to blow away anything in its path, and it's going to consume all the structures and vehicles that are on the banks of that creek.
Oh, there's a cat in there.
So sure, we gotta blame the government for not developing adequate drainage systems, but we also have to ask why they keep spraying the skies over our small towns. I mean, just look at this clip. You can clearly see that something is being sprayed over the clouds where we usually can't even spot it. Now, we don't know exactly what chemicals they're spraying and how they affect our environment, but until we do, the government definitely needs to halt this practice. So once again, don't let them distract you from the real problems by blaming bad drainage. Now, we all see these stories of neighborhoods and sometimes entire towns that have been damaged by the floodwater, and we assume these people will be able to fix their homes with insurance money. But this is often only the beginning of troubles for a lot of these victims because the insurance companies are here only to scam you.
Look at this home. You were a field adjuster deployed for Allstate through pilot catastrophe. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you were the first one to inspect Ms. Miguel's home after the hurricane. Is that right?
Yeah.
You start to prepare an estimate for a full replacement of this breezeway right here. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But then you were instructed, you were told by the higher ups, no, we're not going to do a full replacement of the breezeway. So only do an assessment for a partial replacement of the breezeway. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
so then you start working on that, and you're working to get as big of a damage claim as you can for Ms. Miguel in line with the facts after you've already been told, no, we're not going to do the full thing. And then before you can even complete your work, you're taken off the case. Is that right?
Yes.
Why do you think that happened?
I was told it was due to time I was taking too long, but I don't believe that is the case. I think that Allstate saw from this and my recently prior estimates of being very thorough and complete and going back and forth with reviewers on coverage that it was going to be a higher estimate and it would be more cost effective to reassign it to an adjuster that would listen better.
And when people simply cannot rebuild, companies backed by BlackRock and politicians like Gavin Newsom rear their ugly heads to gobble up all the land. This is how they're stealing America piece by piece, and unfortunately, no one is there to stop them. Now, moving on, I want to show you a comment I saw yesterday which kind of pissed me off. As you can see, the viewer is blaming people for getting sick by misusing Roundup. Now, I usually would just ignore a comment like this one by thinking the person is either pulling my leg or they've lost the plot. However, I've heard this kind of bullshit before, where instead of blaming Monsanto, we blame the people for misusing this deadly chemical. How do you think someone working as a groundskeeper would misuse Roundup?
Moving on to that major court victory for a terminally ill school groundskeeper who took on corporate giant Monsanto. He claims their weed killer Roundup made him sick. A San Francisco jury.
He's not using it to brown some damn oats. And what about that elderly couple?
It's changed our lives forever. We can't do the things that we used to be able to do, and we really resent Monsanto for that fact.
Alberta Pilliot and her husband Alva believe they both developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using Roundup for nearly 30 years.
So I reached for Roundup Extended Control.
After seeing ads on TV, they said they used it once a week, 9 months out of the year at 4 properties they own, without any protective gear.
They were just using it in their backyard garden to stop the weeds from coming back, and they had trusted this company and the EPA, and now they're fighting for their lives. So please, let's stop changing the narrative, because that's how companies like Monsanto get away with it for so long. You guys keep asking how Roundup is still on shelves? This is how, because of people like this who are siding with a mega corporation that's trying to take our right to sue them. It's absolute insanity, and I'm sorry, but I just had to point it out. And since we're talking about powerful people hurting average Americans, let me show you what's happening to hundreds of veterans in this country.
A group of Air Force veterans and a DoD contractor say they have been sickened, even disfigured, after being stationed in the desert in the mid-'80s to early '90s.
Did you have any idea what you were being exposed to?
None. They knew when they did the assessment that our air was contaminated, our soil was contaminated, and our drinking water was contaminated. Worse is the fact that my wife had 3 miscarriages. One of the guys that I worked with, his wife had 7. All 4 of my children were born with birth defects or significant health problems. One of the important things that we suffer from is long-term ionizing radiation exposure. We happen to live in a location that was used for nuclear testing. Last week, the RECA Act was brought back in and extended, which is the downwinders bill, to take care of people that lived 150 and 200 miles away that have cancer clusters because of the exposure that they incurred from the nuclear testing that took place in Nevada. My dormitory was 2.3 miles from a detonation site. It's a little different.
But that's not even the worst part of this story. When these veterans got sick, they were denied medical benefits because their mission was off the damn books. So we not only forced them to work in an extremely hazardous environment, but then we refused to pay them for treatment as well. And this is only one of the cases where they refused to pay for treatment for people who either worked in our armed forces or were working as intelligence agents overseas.
You were attacked. Yes. You were attacked by an energy weapon. Yes, a directed energy weapon.
Questions the cause. The Labor Department does accept Alice's traumatic brain injury as a work injury. Alice qualifies for limited compensation through a law called the Havana Act.
It is a full-time job to try to get medical treatment and is another full-time job to try to handle the bureaucracy of trying to access benefits. I've gone over $100,000 in out of pocket for this.
$100,000?
Because none of these places take health insurance.
This country doesn't even take care of its veterans, and we're wondering why the people are so skeptical of their government. Now, another story I want to share is about a Delta flight, which was diverted after a passenger went nuts thousands of feet in the air.
NBC confirming a man reportedly tried to open an exit row door mid-flight.
Unfortunately for Delta, this day was not getting better because pretty soon a Boeing 767 belonging to the airline caught fire while on its way to Atlanta.
Oh, look at that! Whoa!
I'm telling you folks, if stuff like this keeps happening, we're gonna see a big cut in the number of people who are brave or crazy enough to fly in this country. Now, I want to end this video by sharing another clip with you.
125 gigabytes is roughly 1 million megabits, 125 times 8,000. Now, if your download speed is 40 megabits per second, we can find the time by dividing the total amount of data by the speed. So 1 million megabits divided by 40 megabits per second is about 25,000 seconds. To get a more intuitive number, let's convert 25,000 seconds into hours. There are 3,600 seconds in an hour, so 25,000 divided by 3,600 is roughly 6.9 hours. So it'll take about 7 hours to download that 125 gigabyte file at 40 megabits per second. Wait, it's a prank.
I was terrified.
Just about an half. No worries, it's only good to double check.
What the fuck is going on?
Apparently, a lot of people saw ChatGPT talk in this very strange voice. However, this shouldn't be a surprise. The maker of ChatGPT already told us that it was going to eventually bring about rapture. Excuse me, what? The rapture? This is absolutely terrifying news. You know things are bad when the guy who built ChatGPT wanted to hide in a doomsday bunker to survive what's coming. Ilya Sutskever is one of the co-founders of OpenAI and literally the mastermind behind ChatGPT. But according to journalist Karen Howe's new book, Empire of AI, this dude wasn't just coding. He was planning an escape. In 2023, Sutskever reportedly wanted to build a full-on doomsday bunker for OpenAI scientists to protect them from what he called an AGI rapture. Yeah, like a biblical level event triggered by artificial general intelligence becoming smarter than humans and destroying society. And this wasn't some late night stoned idea. Multiple insiders confirmed that Ilya brought this up repeatedly. OpenAI leadership even signed a letter in 2023 warning that AGI could lead to human extinction. But here's the crazy part. Sutskever isn't alone. Mark Zuckerberg is building a $100 million compound in Hawaii with its own bunker. These tech elites are racing to build the future while quietly preparing for the collapse they know it might cause. So ask yourself, if the guys building AGI are scared enough to bunker up, what do they know that we don't? I think we're going to end today's video right there. As always, I'm looking forward to reading what you guys have to say about today's video, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. They're issuing more flood alerts, so stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.